Okay, so good night, everyone. Um, my name is Duvania Evans, and we're also joined by Miss Tisheika Thompson, and we will be going through CSEC Geography Paper 1s tonight in preparation for the upcoming exam. And similarly to all other sessions, you guys, are free to open your microphones. You're free to ask questions. If we're moving a little too fast, you're free to ask us to slow down. And of course, we really want the session to be as interactive as possible. So please, guys, if you can answer questions or at least attempt to answer questions, we'll really appreciate it. So we're going to start off tonight with the 2020 paper. Okay, so tonight we'll start with the 2020 paper. And as I was saying earlier, guys, we're just gonna basically be doing this paper together so that we can have a very interactive session. Okay, so let's begin. So the first question is based on this diagram that we're seeing here. First, four questions actually. And the diagram here is showing a map of the Caribbean. Hold on a second. It's showing a map of the Caribbean. So the first question is asking us, which island is located at 14 degrees north and 61 degrees west? Would anyone like to try that one? No takers? Okay, so if I zoom in a little bit further. Okay, so we know that Trinidad would obviously be out. Uh, Barbados is obviously out. Pardon?
Sí.
I'm not hearing. Could you repeat?
Sí, St. Lucia.
St. Lucia. Okay, yes. St. Lucia. I would go with St. Lucia as well. This one's a little tricky because I could also understand if someone would probably choose St. Vincent, but I think it's a little too low. I don't think it's quite near 14 fully. So I wouldn't go with St. Vincent. So yes, St. Lucia would be the option of choice. Okay, this next question says, question 2 says, asks us for the location of Havana. So Havana, Cuba is right in this area. Yes, so Havana, Cuba is right here in this area, represented by the little dot here. Does anyone have any idea as to what it could possibly be? We know that by method of elimination,
D.
A and B are out. Pardon?
D.
Wait, what did you say just now?
Sorry, D.
D. Okay, all right, correct. D, because options A and B would be out because just looking at the left-hand side here, or if you're looking at the right, but the left would be easier. Um, it's between 20 to 25 degrees. So options A and B would be out. So we'd be left with options C and D. And looking at option C, it's saying 88 degrees east, right? And we know that we're located in the Western Hemisphere. So we wouldn't go with options. Okay, so question 3 is asking which of the following cities is located approximately 1,000 kilometers from Montego Bay, Jamaica. Now, with a question like this, it probably might be a little difficult to attempt while we're in this virtual space. But if once you're physically doing the exam, you see that the key is right here. So you make use of this key. You could use a strip of paper or something that would be provided, and hopefully they provide them this time, because last with paper two, I heard that they didn't provide you guys with paper or string. Hopefully this time you're provided with those materials. Or you could probably see how best you could maybe use, I don't know, your MCQ card, or maybe a part of the question paper or your receipt. Um, anything that you might have during the exam time. Yes, Kiana, you may go ahead.
Ma'am, since we're virtual, how would we work out this question if we have a piece of paper and we're doing the paper one online?
As in virtually?
Yeah, like using our computers.
Um, I would say probably try using your fingers, I guess, um, or probably I don't I think probably you could try marking off with a piece of paper. I think it would almost be the same, because when I was doing it, I just used my hand and kind of span the area. So it was kind of almost the same. So I'm thinking that you're not really going to be sure if you're doing it online, but the best it would be if when you're doing it in person, because you'd actually be able to measure on the paper. So yeah,
Yeah,
bring it
Duvania.
for wait, yeah.
Duvania.
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, I'd also like to add that when CXC sets question like this, right? They don't necessarily want you to use a ruler in the exam, or they don't really expect you to use one. So what you'll do, you'll just eliminate. So you'll say that, oh, Havana cannot be the answer because Havana is located too close to Jamaica to be 1,000 kilometers based on you observing it. You'll also eliminate somewhere like Port-au-Prince, right? And Santo Domingo. And so now your only other choice would have been Belize.
Wait, Belize?
Yeah, B.
I, I think Belize is a little too far for 1,000 kilometers.
No, wait.
That's
Belmopan.
yeah,
No,
Belmopan is a bit far.
yeah, it is. It is 1,000 man. Yeah.
I wasn't gonna go with Belize. I think Belize was a bit too far.
Miss,
Could
I
I
think
say
the
Porta,
answer might
please?
be Santo Domingo.
Pardon? Go again.
Said I think the answer might be Santo Domingo.
Yeah, I was leaning towards between either Santo Domingo or when I checked it with my hand, I thought Port-au-Prince would have been a little too close. So yeah, I was thinking Santo Domingo as well. As well. But then again, we can't really. Well, the two options I would be thinking would be either between Port-au-Prince or Santo Domingo. But then again, you'd really be sure when you're actually in the exam and you have the physical paper in front of you. So, but yeah, I was
Ma'am,
thinking,
that's
pardon, go again.
sorry.
Go ahead.
I was saying that we're not using a paper. It's supposed to be online.
Wait, your paper one exam will be online?
Yes, please.
Oh, are you sure about that?
I'm sure, ma'am, because we use, well, all of our paper ones are online, even today. So
Oh, wow. Is that something new that CXC is doing?
I
Or
think
is it?
so. I think it was supposed to be for the entire Caribbean.
Oh, well, that's a new one. It's the first I'm hearing that one. Uh, Okay, I mean, I guess if you're doing it virtually, then maybe you could try probably paper, or maybe try your hand, I guess, and see how best that works. But hopefully it's not virtual. Hopefully it's not. Because I mean it'd be a little tricky for certain questions, especially bearing questions. That would be a little tricky. But okay, so moving on. So All right, so question 4 now is saying, okay, an airplane leaves Port of Spain, Trinidad. So our starting point is Port of Spain in Trinidad for Kingston, Jamaica. So we're moving from Trinidad towards Kingston, Jamaica. In which general direction will the airplane fly? So starting point Trinidad, we're going to
West.
Kingston, northwest. That's right. Yes. We're here in Trinidad, we're going to Kingston. So that's a northwest. All right. Okay, next question. Now, grid references. So I know many of you guys should be on the ball with this because we did spend a lot of time working on grid references the last session. So the grid reference of point X. By method of elimination, we know that options C and D would be out of it.
B.
Pardon?
B.
Okay, so you're saying B. Remember looking at option X.
This 8.
Yeah, I'm thinking it would be A. Let me just double check. So yeah, okay. So I'm not sure who was saying B just now, but remember that X is on the line on 41, right? So 3, 4, 5 is correct because it's like the midpoint between 34 and 35. So 3, 4, 5 is correct. But remember, it's literally on the line for 41. So you wouldn't need to put a 5. The only way it could be 415 is if it was like midway between 41 and 42. Right? You got that?
Yes, miss.
Okay, great. All right, now again, the bearing question, that's what I was saying, it's a little bit challenging to read virtually, but I think most of you will remember how to do bearings. So it's asking for the bearing of X from W. Now remember, your words off and from are very important. From indicates where we're starting from, and off the majority of the times will be indicating the location that you're heading to or that you're trying to find. So this one says the bearing of X from W indicates that we're starting at W and we want to find the bearing of X. Now, could someone tell me the first thing that we do when we want to find our bearings? Such are the first thing. Pardon?
Identify the place that come after from.
Okay, which would be our starting point. So we've already done that. So we've already identified our starting point and the point that we want to find. So what's the next thing that we do?
Draw compass on the starting point.
Correct, right. So we draw the compass. Now, just by looking at this, I think you could tell the bearing, right? Someone else is on the chat. Okay. You could tell the bearing just by looking at this. And I'm gonna tell you why. So let me see if I could annotate this. It's not allowing me to click. Oh. Okay. Okay. So we draw our compass here, right? And what we do know is that we'd put 0 degrees here. We'd have our 90 degrees here. 180 here. Oh, uh-oh. Okay, so that's 180. And then 90 plus 180, that's what, like 270? Yep, so that's 270 here. Now, we want to get here. So the reason why I was saying that we could just visually tell from what we're seeing is because by method of elimination again, 045 would definitely be out of it. 135 definitely out. 225 is also definitely out. So we could literally just look at this and say it's 315. Does everyone get that? Okay, I saw 2 persons in the chat said D. So yeah. So you could literally, in some cases, especially for a student who is saying that theirs might be virtually, you just have to kind of look for the clues in the responses. Because 045 would be telling you basically somewhere that is northeast, right? 135 is gonna be somewhere that's southeast. 225 is something that's southwest, and then 315 would have to be the only option that is indicating northwest. So yeah. All right, so just erase this now. All right. So the next question is asking for the contour interval. The same diagram. Does anyone have any ideas to what the contour interval could be?
20 meters.
20, yes, 20.
20 meters.
20, yeah, 20 meters. Pardon? I think you said 20 meters, so yes, it will be 20 meters. All right, now this other question now is asking which location is approximately 100 meters above sea level. Again, we just basically use the contour lines that we're seeing here. And the only location that would be 100 would be Y, because Z is looking like it's somewhere probably like about definitely less than 60. 40 is X is somewhere between 60 and 80. And then I think we did W is like literally probably just over 40. So yeah. So our answer for that would be Y. The landform shown at Y is A. Does anyone have any ideas to what this could possibly be? Guys, it would be much easier if you open your microphones, because sometimes to check, remember I'm sharing my screen, so I'd have to literally switch over to the chat.
Ma'am, is it a hill?
Pardon?
Is it a hill?
A hill, yeah. I would go with a hill as well. Y. Yep, so a hill. I think I saw a question, someone asking, how do you find the interval? Okay. Okay, thank you, Joshua. So yes, Joshua's response is correct as to how you find the contour interval. Re-explain question 8. Okay, so I was saying is, again, just looking at the contour intervals, right? It's asking for which location is approximately 100 meters above sea level. So if we should go by each option one by one, right? We're seeing where W, looking at the contours, right? These lines on the diagram here, these are the contour lines. So W is just over 40 meters, right? Z is less than 60 meters in terms of the contour value. X would be a little bit, would be somewhere between 60 and 80. And then Y is literally on the 100-meter contour line. So that's why Y would be your option of choice for this question. Okay, someone was asking why would number 9 be a hill? Okay, so just based on the arrangement of the contours, it's kind of, if you could picture it, it would literally almost be like you're starting from a low point, you're having a peak. All right, so if we should follow along this 32 easting line here, right? You'd start at 60, you're going up, right? So 60, 80, 100, 120. And then if we follow that same pattern and we're heading, we'd now be going down. So 120, 100, 80, and then 60 would be somewhere, at the 42 line, right? So we're literally going up. We're starting low, then we have a peak at the top, and then we go back low. And then you can also tell other landforms from contour lines. So for example, if you wanted to know if it was a plateau, right? The contours would basically, you'd have very steep contours at one end, and then at the top, it would just be like spaced out, indicating like that it's almost flat on the surface. And then if it was a valley, we'd be looking at contours that would be decreasing in value between two steep areas. So on one side of the map, you'd be seeing very steep contours. And then on the other side, you'd also be seeing steep contours. But in the middle, it would sort of be that you'd see where the contour values are depreciating downwards. But for the most part, in multiple choice when it relates to contours, you'd get some contours that are very easy to identify. I don't think you'd get anything a bit too complex. So yeah, it most likely either be a hill, a valley, or a plateau for the most part.
At times, even 2 on the 2 could be
So someone has their microphone open playing music. Shiloh, I think that might be you. Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay. So yeah, for the contours that you could literally just have an idea as to what they would look like. I think most textbooks tend to. For the ridge, it's you'd see a little bit, it's a bit difficult to explain. It's easier if you would, it would be easier if you look up the diagram as to what the contours for a ridge would look like, but I don't think you'd ever be asked to identify a ridge from a contour. But it's a bit difficult to explain, and I wouldn't want to confuse you guys. So on to number 10. All right, so the first question, 10 to 12 are based on this diagram. It's asking the direction of the prime meridian from New Orleans. So first we need to identify the prime meridian. So what is the prime meridian?
It's the center at 0.
Pardon?
The center line of longitude at 0 degrees.
Correct. So this is our prime meridian here that we're looking at. And we want the direction of the prime meridian from New Orleans, right? So again, of and from are very important words. So this is indicating that we're at New Orleans and we want to find the direction of the prime meridian, right? So east, so that's A, right? Okay, the next question is asking about time. What time is it in New Orleans when it is 10 p.m. on Monday in St. Petersburg? So St. Petersburg is located here at 30 degrees east, and New Orleans is located at 90 degrees west. Just give you a couple seconds to a minute. Does anyone have any idea as to what question the answer could possibly be?
D.
Pardon?
D.
D. D as in dog?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I would go with D as well. Okay, so would you guys like an explanation for this one, or?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, so the Earth rotates 300, it takes 24 hours for the Earth to make a full 360-degree rotation, right? So if we divide 360, hopefully you guys could follow just for a sec. If we divide 360 by 24, we get 15, right? So that would mean that it takes 15 degrees, like every 15 degrees, the Earth would rotate 1 hour. Or like, wait, no. Every 15 degrees, yeah, it takes the Earth 1 hour to rotate 15 degrees. That makes sense. So if we're looking at moving from 30 to 90, you could count by 15 degrees because 15 degrees would represent 1 hour. So we could go 15. So from 30 to 15, that's 1 hour. From 15 to 0, that would be another hour. From 0 to 15, that would be another hour. So that's 3 hours. From 15 to 30, that's another hour. From 30 to 15, that's another hour. From not 30 to 15, sorry, from 30 to 45, that'd be another hour. From 45 to 60, that's another hour. From 60 to what's that? What, 75? 75, yeah. That'll be 1 hour. And then from 75 to 90, that would be another hour. All right. So that's 8 hours in total. And because we're moving towards the west, we subtract. So towards the west, you're subtracting. If you're moving eastward, you'd add. So moving towards the west, you subtract. So in that case, you basically be looking at 10 p.m. minus 8 hours, which would be 2 p.m. Another way that you could possibly do this, right, is you could literally add up the degrees. So from 30 degrees west to 90. So you go from 30 to 0, 30, 0 to 30 is another 30, so that's 60. Then from here to here is again would be another 30, so that's 90. And then from here to here again would be another 30, so that's 120. And you could multiply that 120 by 4 because it takes the Earth would take 4 minutes to rotate for 1 degree, right? So if you multiply 120 in total, that would be how many degrees you just moved. 120 by 4, you get 480. And that would be 480 minutes. This sounds a little bit confusing, but hopefully when you guys rewatch the recording, maybe you could follow a bit better. So it'd be 120 degrees times 4 minutes. And that would give you 480 minutes in total. And then if you want to change minutes to hours, of course, you could just divide by 60. And 480 divided by 60 is 8 hours. So again, we'd be looking at taking away or subtracting 8 hours from 10 p.m. because we're moving towards the west, right? So you guys following? Did you guys get that? Maybe it
Yes,
went a
please.
little too fast, but yeah, hopefully a good thing we're recording this session so you guys could always go back and listen. All right, so the next question is asking, the shaded area on the map represents A, the tropics, B, the Arctic, C, the Mediterranean, D, the temperate. What do you guys think?
Tropics, yes?
Yes, yeah, the tropics. The tropics. Yep. All right. 13. Diagram again is shown. What type of limestone landform is labeled Y in the diagram below? So
Swallow
have
O.
a solid hole. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it would be a solid hole. Can you tell me why we'd say a swallow hole and not a depression?
It's because a swallow hole is a limestone formation that stems from the top of the limestone pavement going into a limestone field.
Yeah, you could say that as well. Or you could literally say because and you see where the river is coming up, is resurfacing or probably is well, it could be resurfacing or it could literally just be going underground. Yeah, it's going underground. Yeah, it's going underground. It's not resurfacing. So in this case, it's literally able to if it was a depression is literally just like it's just kind of almost you'd want to say like an indentation in the ground surface, right? It's with a swallow hole or a sinkhole, you're able to actually something is able to go in. So in this case, the river can actually go inside or go underground. So that would basically be your clear indication. With a depression, it doesn't necessarily have to be like there doesn't necessarily have to be an opening if it's a depression. It's just almost like just a surface indentation in the ground surface. Okay. So yeah, it's a swallow hole. Pardon? Okay, I don't think okay. So this question here, again, another diagram, which of the following features is not shown in the diagram? So cliff, headland, bay head beach, or wave cut platform. What are you guys thinking for that one?
D.
Yeah. Can you tell me why D though?
Because there's no wave cut platform on the diagram.
Well, here, but it'd be literally, they would have to show like a zoomed in version for you to actually even see a wave cut platform if there's one indicated. But yeah, they wouldn't be shown on a diagram like this. Yeah, and we know we have our bays right in here. We have our headlands here. The beach indicated by the deposition or the dots right here kind of represent deposition. And then the cliff face, like once there's a headland, there's usually always a cliff, right? So yeah. Okay, so 15, 16, another diagram again. So guys, diagrams are quite a popular thing on paper too, on paper one, sorry. So this one is asking now what type of weather system is the southern part of Cuba experiencing at this time? So here we have the southern part of Cuba, right here. What are you guys thinking?
Furnace.
Yeah, yep. I would say a cold front as well. Yeah. And what is the name of the country labeled X? Well, this is an easy one. Super easy one. And just by method of elimination, you'd know that it's Puerto Rico there. All right, so okay, so another diagram. Again, this one is a rainfall and temperature graph. Okay, so from this, or line graph is what, or line, sorry, not line graph, or line would represent the temperature. And the bars are usually what represents the rainfall. So 17 is asking the annual range of temperature is approximately. So to find the range, what we'd be looking for is we'd be going for the value here. And then also be looking at the lowest value as well. Somewhere about there. So it's about, so I'll say somewhere like 11, it's gonna be here, so about 11, 12. And here it'd be about, so I don't think it's quite 20, it's about 20, 22, 23. Yeah, it's about 22, 23 there. Yeah. So we literally just be subtracted. So Yeah, I'd go with 11. I would go with, could be 23 or it could be 22, but the closest response would be, I would say B. You guys agree or disagree with that?
Agree.
Agree, okay, awesome. All right, so the next question says, which of the following statements is true? The hottest months of the year are also the driest. Remember, the line is the temperature and the bars are for the rainfall. So the hottest months of the year are also the driest. So let's see if that's a possibility. So hottest months here, we're seeing where they have low rainfall values, right? Almost all below 50 millimeters of rainfall. So for all those hot temperatures, all right. The hottest months are also the wettest. No, we wouldn't go with that. There is little variation in rainfall throughout the year. I wouldn't say that either, because if we look at this, we're seeing where it's literally sometimes moving from 0, like the lowest value is 0. Yeah, basically 0. And the highest is about 50, 60, 70, about 60. 60 or 70, somewhere between 60 and 70. So I don't think that would mean that there's little variation in rainfall. It's quite, you're seeing quite a lot of variation here. And then there's another question. The other option is saying there's little variation in temperature throughout the year. I wouldn't go with that either. So I'm thinking that the option for this number 18 here would be A. That the hottest months of the year are also the driest. Okay, Janae agrees. Okay, so I'm wondering if, so I think, does anyone else agree or disagree with that? Agree, okay, cool. All right. Okay. Again, another rainfall temperature graph. This one is saying which month had the highest temperature. Again, we're using the line for temperature. So here it's about almost 35. So we're looking at September. Yeah, September has the highest temperature. And which of the following types of climate does this information on the diagram represent? So just by method of elimination, we know that hot desert is out and we know that tropical continental is out. So which one would you guys think?
Equatorial.
Victoria.
Right, yeah. And what's the clear giveaway that would be equatorial?
The rainfall.
Right, yeah, the rainfall could be one, but also temperature. Temperature is extremely high. It's extremely high. It's mostly like basically, yeah, it's mostly above 28. So definitely temperature, and it's the highest it's getting is near almost 35. So yeah. Okay. I think I saw someone send this into the group chat. Which of the following statements is true of the population of country Q?
Would it be D?
Yeah, I think it would be D as well. That the life expectancy is decreasing. Because as you go higher, you see, pardon, yeah.
Miss, I was watching a YouTube video and it said it was C was the answer.
So the high dependence ratio, I could also see how it could be C as well. But let me tell you why I probably wouldn't go with C if it was as my first choice. Okay, so you do have a high working class population, but for there to be like a very high dependency ratio, I would say that from your 60 to 64 age group, 60 and above age group would need to be a bit higher. So it would literally almost need to be on the same level as either the youthful age groups or about the same as the working class population. It's not high enough in that regard. The elderly population is not high enough in that regard to say, okay, yeah, the dependency ratio is like super high. Yeah, I wouldn't choose that one. I would say life expectancy is decreasing because when you literally look from like 60 to 64, 65 to 69, 70 to 74, you're literally seeing where it's getting lower and lower and lower. Yeah. So that's what I would go with for that life expectancy is decreasing. All right, okay, more diagrams again. So item 22 refers to this diagram here. And it's supposed to be some volcanic feature. What are we thinking? Is it a caldera? Is it a lava plateau, a volcanic plug, or a volcanic dome?
Caldera.
Yeah, I think it's also a caldera. So, all right, 23. Which of the following statements about lines of latitude is true? They meet at the poles. They're all great circles. They represent angular distance from the prime meridian. They represent the angular distance north and south of the equator. So just by method of elimination, A and C are out of it. So it's between B or D.
D.
Yeah, D for sure. Represent the distance north and south of the equator. Which of the following phrases which of the following phrases refers to eastings? So our eastings, again, just to refresh our eastings, let me see if I can find that. The diagram that we're looking at. Okay, so our eastings would be these lines, these vertical lines here that are increasing in value towards the east. Okay. All right, so that question. So by method of elimination, we know that our eastings are vertical lines. So C and D are out. So the only option, and we said their values increase towards the east. So our only option would be B. All right, everyone got that one? Okay, sounds like we're good. Okay, so this question here, 25, the main difference between weathering and erosion relates to the A, contents of the rocks, B, removal of materials, C, temperature of the materials, or D, the slope of the land bearing the rocks.
B.
B, right? Yeah, removal of materials, right? Yep. And which process is the one that refers to the removal of materials?
Erosion.
By definition. Pardon?
Erosion.
Yeah, by definition, erosion. Yep. All right, good. We're on a good track, guys. Okay. Which of the following plate margins is shown in the diagram above?
Convergent.
Why do you say it's a convergent margin?
The arrows are moving towards each other.
Right, that's one clue. What's the second clue that we could say, what we could use?
Fall mountains.
No, not fall mountains here. What
Or
about the
subduction zone.
right subduction zone and also the volcanoes on the surface here? All right. Yep. Right. That's what we're using. All right. The features shown at R are okay. We literally just covered that. R is showing volcanoes. Not sure if you guys are agreeing with that one, but yeah, I think we're all agreeing that it's a volcano. Okay, great. 28. Which of the following conditions are reasons for the sparse settling of inland areas of some Caribbean territories?
B.
B, 1 and 3. Anyone else have any other idea for that one? Right, yeah, I would go with B as well. Because for the majority of our Caribbean islands, the internal areas, the interiors really are hilly. You do have a lot of forested areas in the interiors, and that also actually creates a situation where it's difficult for transport links to be created, right? All right. And for the interiors having no mineral resources, I don't think that would be true any at all, because in most cases there are, or well, maybe not most, but in some cases there are mineral resources that are present. But yeah, and even if mineral resources are present, that would still that would not account for, if mineral resources are present, it wouldn't mean that there's like a sparse settling, right? But yeah, it's mostly because the hair is hilly, it's hilly for heavily forested, and as a result, there are very poor transport links.
You know the way that I get. You know when people are coming up, you say, "Oh, is it? Oh, you
Um,
play good." I like it. Kill me still.
your mic is open. Can you just, all right, okay, good. I think Kiana is asking what is a sparse settlement. It basically means that there's little to no, basically no one is living there. All right. Question 29. The process of exfoliation may be defined as, well, this is a pretty easy one. Anyone wants to have a go at that one? Guys,
A.
remember you're free to open your mics. Pardon?
A.
Yeah, it's basically the peeling off of the outer layers. Yep. Right, that's correct. 30. Which of the following statements explains how vegetation contributes to the development of soils? Okay.
B.
B. Yep, I'll go with B as well. Vegetation decomposes to produce the organic matter of soil. Yeah, right. And vegetation does not provide the parent material for soils. All right. When magma emerges on the surface, it may lead to the formation of, very simple one, 31. Yeah, lava flows for sure. Okay, so now we're literally looking at a blank diagram of the globe, and we want to identify what each of these values represent, or what each of these lines of latitude rather would represent. So this is pretty simple. This one is an easy one. What does P represent here?
B.
Yeah, the Arctic. The Arctic. The Antarctic would be the lower one at 66.5. But yeah, the Arctic is P. So that, yeah, that's B. All right. Number 38, the point where a river begins is referred to as the,
Source.
right, correct.
Source.
And where it ends is the,
Mouth.
Mouth.
that's right. Okay. Which of the following elements is mainly responsible for high temperatures in the Caribbean?
Latitude.
Yeah, latitude. And why is that so? Could someone explain that for me?
Because we're located at the at the equator, and that's like where the sun's rays can meet the equator, like that vertically, so that all the sunlight is in a small area, something like that.
Okay, so well, yeah, you're on the right track. So basically, we're located very close towards the equator, and we basically get the sun's rays are able to cover like a greater distance, right? All right, so which of the following conditions results from increased use of the tropical rainforest for agricultural lands? Increase in the height of trees, greater variety of plants, greater rates of erosion of the topsoil, or increased amounts of nutrients added to the soil.
See,
Right, yeah, because you're basically clearing the land surface. So you're making it prone to erosion and soil degradation, right? Because you're removing the vegetative cover that helps to hold and keep the soil together. 41, which of the following is classified as a tertiary industry? So as we know, our tertiary industries are our services. So which one would be your services here? Right, yes, B, tourism. What would C and D be classified as? Remember, guys, you can open your microphones.
secondary.
Industry.
Yeah, secondary, and A would be your primary. Okay. What erosional process is taking place in the diagram?
Is it corrosion?
Corrosion. Yep. Yep. Corrosion. Yeah. Wait 1 second. Give me a second, guys, please. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So yes, we said corrosion just now. So yeah, that's the erosional process that would be taking place. All right, let's move on to 43. Uh-oh. Is that an error? 13. Okay, something's going on. Wait a sec. Oh, we went from 32 to 38. Okay, so all right, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. That's how they scan the paper. Okay. Which of the following correctly describes the relationship between weather and climate? Give you guys some time to think about this one.
D, Miss.
Weather is the day-to-day changes in the atmosphere, while climate is the average condition of the atmosphere over many years. Correct. Yep, that's it. Yep. So it's just basically keeping the main difference between the two is the time frame, right? All right, 34. Which of the following factors may increase the rate of soil erosion? So increasing the rate of soil erosion. What are we thinking, guys?
C, Miss.
C.
That's 2 and 3. Right, yes. So very intense rainfall, we know it can wash away the soil surface, right? Causing like landslides and things like that. And then poor cultivation techniques also are responsible for a large scale removal of topsoil and soil layers, right? Okay. Which of the following drainage patterns is illustrated in this diagram shown here? So we see the point here, that's a central uplift, and we're seeing the rivers and tributaries flowing away from this central point.
Radial. A.
Correct. Yeah, that's radial. Which of the following statements explains why snow may be present on mountaintops in Africa near the equator? There's really only one choice here that really, really, really would really be the only. There's no other choice here that you could really say maybe. Anyone has any idea as to what it could be?
It's good. C.
Right, yeah, C, literally C, altitude. Right? Because remember, the higher you go in elevation above sea level, temperature decreases, right? So when you think of very high mountaintops, we're talking like over 5,000 meters, going very high up. The temperature decreases drastically. Somebody's asking for 35, question 35. Okay, the response was radial. So A for 35. All right. 37. Which of the following processes causes the formation of an igneous rock? There's another easy one here.
Cooling of magma, miss.
Right, yes. So the cooling of magma. Changing of rocks, that would basically be metamorphic, right? Compacting of sediments, sedimentary. Yeah. The rate of natural increase of a population is determined by. Anyone has any idea as to what this one could be?
Yeah, miss. Good. Good and
Yeah, births and deaths. Yep. Births and death rates for that one. All right, most capital cities in the Caribbean have coastal locations mainly because of do you have any ideas for that one?
miss the Ghana's major. What?
Big Ghana's major ports. Right. Yep. Big Ghana's major ports. Because back then, one of the main thing was, remember, a lot of the Caribbean islands were notorious for their agricultural output, especially production of like sugarcane, right? And it was to get the sugarcane to you know, for get the main thing was to get them exported to places in Britain, for example. So it's really that they began as major ports. Areas closer to the poles receive less heat energy than those closer to the equator because the sun's rays are reflected at higher latitudes, absorbed at higher latitudes directly over the higher latitudes, or spread over a larger area at higher latitudes.
Miss?
Pardon?
D, spread over a larger area.
Yeah, I would go with D as well. Yep. It's usually directly over the equator, or latitudes closer towards the equator. Yeah. All right. Which of the following conditions is a problem in urban areas of the Caribbean? Labor shortage, absence of paved roads, inadequate housing stock, inadequate shopping facilities.
C, Miss.
Yeah, inadequate housing stock. Yep. All right. 47. At a transform plate margin, crustal plates are pulled apart, sliding, colliding, or being reabsorbed. Remember transformer where we have our earthquakes happening. Mainly earthquakes taking place there. So yeah, B, sliding past each other. At which plate margin is it being pulled apart?
Divergent, Miss?
Right.
Diverging.
And colliding,
Convergent.
right? Convergent. And being reabsorbed,
Convergent.
right? Same convergent. Okay. Which of the following actions can be used to reduce the emission of greenhouse gases? So we want to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So you said C, right? So increased use of solar power and reduction in the use of fossil fuels. So 2 and 3. CFCs are known methods by is a known method by which the global warming or the greenhouse effect is enhanced. So we wouldn't want to increase the use of CFCs. Changes in global trade policies impact Caribbean traditional export crops because they stimulate policies, encourage competition, encourage climate change, or increase preferential markets. $49. B, right. They encourage competition. So remember with one of the major changes that took place in global trade policies was you had the removal of preferential trade agreements, right? So what used to happen was many colonies, especially British colonies, right? There used to be trade policies in place or rather agreements in place where they would purchase the agricultural produce from the colonies at whatever prices that the goods are going for. But because now we have trade liberalization, and we have the globalization taking place, where there's now this global economy, there's this global market, we have an increase in competition where other countries now are able to basically be offering their goods for lower prices or at lower rates, right? So competition increases from right there. Tropical rainforests developed their distinct characteristics because of question 50. Type of soil, human influence, slope of the land, or high temperatures and rainfall.
Is it D, Miss?
A. I'm not sure why we say A.
Miss D.
Yeah, I'm thinking D. High temperatures and rainfall. Yeah, I would go with D for that one. I would go with D. I would go with D for this one. Yeah, so I'd go with D for that one. The high temperatures on ridge. All right. Item 51, which of the following processes is most likely to result in the formation of the feature X?
C, Miss?
C, longshore drift and wave deposition. All right, yep. Because X is definitely a depositional feature. Yeah, so definitely that. 52 atolls, so these are reefs, coral reefs now. So atolls appear as reefs that are, when saying A, Josh was saying A for atolls. Ring shaped lagoon in the center found. Right, yeah. So it's ring shaped with a lagoon in the center. Those are your atolls. Okay, so 53. Question 53. Which of the following features indicates unhealthy coral reefs?
B.
B, B or D? I'm not hearing you. Are you still there? Okay, so I mean, it would be D, right? Yes, D. Extensive area of bright white coral. Yeah. All right, 54. Rapid urbanization in Caribbean countries usually results in improved standards of living, housing shortages in cities, increased employment, or decreased foreign exchange rates. I think earlier there was a question that asked about a characteristic, and we mentioned like there's poor housing stock or something like that. So yeah, you'd be looking at housing shortages in the cities. All right, next question. Which of the following factors is most important in locating primary industries? Most important. Right, raw materials, yes. So you're looking at basically you need to have the raw materials necessary. Right. Algae nourished by water is enriched with nutrients, grow in abundance over the corals, causing them to die. The situation described above can come about through yeah, B. Yep. All right. When most sewage discharge tend to like result in like a large influx of nutrients into the water, and then they basically result in eutrophication. All right, which of the following are primary sector activities? I think we did a question similar to this not too long ago. So primary sector would be fishing. So Someone said C. Swan is also saying C. Right. So fishing, in this case, fishing would be the primary, not so selling. I think selling of it would be more like probably like a service. But I'm guessing just by method of elimination, C would be the best choice. I wouldn't really think that blasting in a quarry should be primary per se, but I guess it can work. Wait, Tashika?
Yes,
Um,
Duvania?
Oh, what do you think about number 57?
Two and three.
2 and 3. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So we'd work with that one based on the, because it definitely could not be one. One is definitely out of it. So yeah. All right. 58. Which of the following factors poses the most serious threat to the rivers of the Caribbean? Yeah, waste disposal. Yep. Time and time again, we've seen that. All right. Which of the following factors exert the greatest influence on tourism? Climates, carnivals, coral reefs, tropical forests.
A.
Yeah, it's definitely climate. Yeah, definitely climate. Number 60, which of the following conditions is likely to result from tropical deforestation? Yeah, loss of flora. Yep. Right. So, okay, guys. So we've come to the end of the 2020 paper. So I think we could have a little break and resume at 9 p.m. And I think Tashika will go through the 20. Wait, Tashika, which paper do you want to go through? Wait, Tashika?
Can you repeat, please, Duvania?
Pardon?
Wait, were you calling me a while ago?
Oh, yeah, I was asking which paper would you be going through next?
2022.
Okay, so Tashika, when we come back from our break at 9, Tashika will go through the 2022 paper. Tashika, your mic is on mute.
Okay, so good night again, everyone. I'm Tisheika Thompson, and I'll be going through the CSEC Geography Paper 1 paper from the year 2022. And we'll start with the first question. So for this first question, we're given 4 items, and we're asked to answer a series of questions based on this map provided, the map of the Caribbean region provided. And for the first question, we're asked to state the island that is located at 12 degrees north and 61 degrees west. Can somebody tell me what island they think is located in that area? So 12 degrees north and 41 degrees west. A, Grenada. Does anybody else agree that Grenada is the answer? "12 degrees north and 61 degrees west." Is anyone else saying A, Grenada?
Yeah.
All right, so yes, the answer is indeed Grenada. So the answer is A. For number 2, we're asked Port-au-Prince is located at. So we have Port-au-Prince right here. What coordinates will you attach to Port-au-Prince? So we have 18 degrees north and 22 degrees west, 18 degrees north and 72 degrees west, 21 degrees north and 72 degrees west, and 21 degrees north and 22 degrees west. B. B. All right, so let's see, 18 degrees north, (72 degrees west). But the answer is B. All right. So for number 3, which of the following islands is located approximately 1,000 kilometers west of Port-au-Prince? So we're given Antigua, Jamaica, the Bahamas, and the Cayman Islands. So D, the Cayman Islands. Yes, D, the answer is D. So the Cayman Islands will be located 1,000 degrees west. Okay, so it says an airplane leaves Bridgetown, Barbados for Kingston, Jamaica. In which general direction will it fly? So the plane leaves Barbados from Jamaica, so Barbados right here, to Kingston, Jamaica right here. So what direction would the plane fly if it's traveling from Barbados to Jamaica? C, northwest. Is someone saying something? All right, yes, the answer is C. So it will fly northwest. So northwest, northwest. Okay, so moving on to the next set of questions. And this gives items 5 to 9, and we're asked to answer a series of questions based on this contour map that is provided. Okay, so for number 5, it asks the grid reference of point Z. So 5, we have someone saying A again. And why do you say the answer is A? How did you get to that answer? Joshua, would you like to tell us?
From what I see, it looks at C. Point C is directly in the middle between the lines 36 and 37 thing.
Yeah.
So that means it probably be like 365, and that's the only option with 65.
You're right, you're correct. So the answer would be C. The answer would be A, based on our 6-way grid reference, right? So you're the eastings and then your northings. Okay, now, so the bearing of X from W is approximately, and Duvania would have mentioned before, your from would denote where you will start from. So you start from W. So when you start from W, what would the bearings be? So we have someone saying A. Is that A? No, D. D. Yeah. So the answer would be D. It would have been located somewhere along your 315 degree marker on your protractor. Okay, now so number 7, which of the following words best describe the slope from between Y and W? So describing the slope between Y and W, would it be flat? Is it steep? Would you say it's gentle or undulating?
Is it gentle, miss?
Gentle. All right. So we have someone saying gentle. Does anyone else agree? So Joshua agrees. Yes, it would be gentle. It would be gentle, it wouldn't be flat, not really steep because the contours aren't really close together. So yes, so the answer would be C, gentle. All right, so which location is approximately 50 meters above sea level? So by process of elimination, we would take out C. We'll also take out X, which is B, and we're left with W and Z. So we have Joshua saying D. Does anyone else agree with Joshua? With D? Yes, Joshua, the answer is D. So Z would have been that location located at the approximated 50-meter marker. All right, and we're going to the last question in that section, and we're asked what landform is shown Y in the sketch map. A, it would have been a hill. All right, so we're moving along quickly, yes. So we're also given another set of questions to answer based off the map. And Duvania would have gone through this question before explaining how to calculate time based on location right here. And the answer would have been 2 p.m. on a Sunday. Right, so
Wait, not Sunday, Monday.
Monday, it was Monday?
Yeah, it was still Monday.
All right, thanks
2
for
p.m. on
that.
Monday. Yeah. Wait, that's 2 a.m. It's D. Yeah.
All right, so the answer is 2 p.m. on a Monday. All right, so question 11. What major line of latitude is closest to New Orleans? So is it the equator? Is it the Antarctic Circle, the Tropic of Cancer, or the Tropic of Capricorn? Would anyone like to answer this question? So Joshua says B. Yes, C. Does anyone else agree with C? All right, so Swan also agrees. Yeah, the answer is C, so it would have been the tropical cancer. Okay, so we are asked to identify the shaded area on the map. And is this area the tropics? Do you think it's the Arctic zone? Is it the Mediterranean? Is it the temperate zone? Not on the other paper, it was A when this section here was shaded. However, we're somewhere up north of the equator, not too in the tropics, so you say yes. The answer is D, so we're in the temperate zone based on the area that is shaded. Okay. We're given a few more diagrams right here. And in item 13, we're given a sketch of a limestone area. And we're asked to state what feature it is that is located at Y right here. All right, so Joshua says D. Does anyone also agree that the answer is swallow hole? Okay, so yes, the answer is the swallow hole. And or stalagmites that have been growing at the bottom right here. You see these sharp pointy protrusions at the floor. Those would have been our stalagmites. While these on the top would have been our, what's the answer for 12? The answer for 12 was the temperate zone. While the ones growing off the roof would have been our stalactite. All right, so moving on to question 14, and we're also given another sketch map of a contour, and we're asked to state what landform is seen on the map provided. Is it a knoll? Do you think it's a ridge, a valley, or an escarpment? All right, so Joshua is saying D. Is anyone else in agreement? Do you have any other answer for that question, or do you think it's D as well? So 14D.
Could it be a no?
A knoll. A null. No. A null. No, not a null. Wait, Duvania, is this a null or is it an escarpment?
No.
For escarpment,
don't-
I'm seeing like an eroded highland where typically it has differential erosion. So like over here would have been steeper than over this side, which would have been gentle. That's a typical.
Right, yeah.
So it's escarpment.
Yeah, I would go with that. I don't think it's a null.
All right. Okay, so
Yeah,
that
null is like almost like probably like almost like a isolated hill. Well, not isolated hill, but it's
a smaller hill.
yeah, it's a smaller hill.
All right, so yeah. The answer for 14, yes. Thanks, Duvania. The answer
no
for
problem.
14 would have been an escarpment. Okay, guys. So not a null, but an escarpment. Okay, so moving on. What type of weather system does this map suggest that the southern part of Cuba is experiencing at this time? So would it be a hurricane? Do you think that it's a cold front? a warm front, an anticyclone. Yes, it would have been a cold front. Cold front is usually depicted with the triangle attached to the line going across. While a warm front would have been a semicircle going across the line. Okay, so in this picture of the Earth structure, what feature do you think is labeled as X? So is it the core? Do you say C?
C, miss.
Yes, the answer is C. All right, so C, the mantle. Okay. And if I put the label right here, what would that be?
The crust.
The crust. And if I put it in the center?
Any comments?
Yeah, the core. Inner core. Okay, moving on. Okay, so moving on now. Okay, more diagrams for answering items 17 and 18. And we're asked, the feature labeled at M is it a levee? Is it a terrace? Do you say it's a waterfall or is it a floodplain?
Is it B, miss?
No, B. Yeah. All right, so let me zoom in. All right, so the feature labeled M right here. Look at them up closely and look at how you see the diagram being drawn. So we have our river right here. And then up here we have some step-like features going up.
So
Wait, Tashika, are you still there?
Hello?
We're not. Oh, we're hanging up.
Oh, all right. So did someone say B a while ago? All right, so I was hearing D, floodplain. Someone was saying something. Someone gave a response. We're saying A or B. All right, so in this diagram of the river, we can see a few features being labeled, right? So we have our river in the center right here, right, guys? However, we have some step-like features going up at, you can say, probably like either sides of the river. And what we'll call these step-like features, we call them terraces. And they form as a river undercuts. So it routes downwards. And terrace is located further away from the river without being the oldest terrace, right? So you can see like right here, this would have been a newly created terrace. So when you see step-like features along a river, those signify terraces. And you will know that it's a step-like feature because they'll draw these little strokes going downwards to signify that it's elevated. Okay, so the answer is a terrace, so B. So B. And can someone tell me what feature they think N would be? So N is C. All right, so Joshua says a floodplain. Does anyone also agree or disagree? That the answer is indeed C. All right, so you're correct, Joshua. The answer is indeed C. So right here would have been the floodplain and not the step-like features. Okay, guys? So your floodplains is that flat land located on either sides of the river. Okay, so now moving on to the next section. Okay, so we're asked to answer questions 19 through to 21 based on this map of cruise ship arrivals from the periods January to August 2029 and 2020. And for the first question, question 19, it says, in which of the following months was there almost no change in arrival across the 2 years? That is 2019 and 2020. And we're given a key right here which tells us what each year is. So we have 2020 being depicted by the black line, and we have 2019 being depicted by the cross-hatching or the diagonal lines. So one says B, and B is March. Does anyone also agree that B is the answer? So, all right, so the answer is indeed March. So in March, there was almost no change in arrival. Okay, thanks, Joshua. Okay, so we're asked again, in which of the following months was there a greater difference in arrivals between the 2 years? So, all right, so we have January, February, May, June. All right, so I'm getting some A's in the chat. Does everyone agree that the answer is A? So January. All right, so the answer is January. January had the greatest increase. Okay. Which of the following conclusions can be drawn based on the graph provided? So A says the number of arrivals in April 2020 was lower when compared with April 2019. B, in 2020, there was a marked increase in arrivals compared with 2019. C, in any given month, the lowest number of arrivals was 20,000. And D, January had the lowest number of arrivals in both years. So based on that, those responses, those answers, which do you think corresponds with what is being shown in the graph?
D, miss?
Can you repeat, please? Did you say D?
Yes, miss.
Yes, the answer is D. So January had the highest number of arrivals in both years. All right, so moving on. So here, in question 22, we're asked which of the following type of rocks is formed from the solidification of lava? So is it basalt? Would it be marble? Is it sandstone or is it limestone? So Joshua says A. Does anyone also agree with Joshua?
Yes, miss.
Yeah, so the answer is A, basalt. Marble would have been your metamorphic, and limestone would have been your sedimentary type of rock. All right, so which of the following phrases refers to eastings? So are eastings vertical lines that decrease in value eastwards? Are they vertical lines that increase in value eastwards? Are they horizontal lines that increase in value northwards? Or are they horizontal lines that decrease in value northwards? All right, so one is saying B. By process of elimination, we will take out B and C, and we left with A and B. All right, so Tiana, is it Tiana? Tiana is also saying B. Yes, the answer is B. So E, since they would increase in value eastwards. Okay, so for Question 24, it says the main difference between weathering and erosion relates to it. So is it the contents of the rock? Removal, one says the removal of materials. Does anyone agree? So is it the removal of materials?
Yes,
Yeah.
miss.
Yeah, so for weathering, materials aren't removed, while in erosion we have materials being removed by the elements, wind, water. So the main difference is the removal of materials. 25, which of the following term refers to the chemical process by which limestone is weathered? Is it oxidation, hydration, hydrolysis, carbonation?
Is it carbonation, miss?
Carbonation, yes. So we have someone saying carbonation. Someone also says carbonation. Yes, the answer is indeed carbonation, guys. So the answer for this one is B. All right, so yeah, the answer is D. So we're moving on to our next set of questions, and we're given a population pyramid of a country X. And we're asked, what is the range within each age group shown in the pyramid? And we have our age being labeled on our x-axis down here. So would the range be 4 years? Do you think it's 5 years? Is it 6 years, 10 years? All right, so we have someone saying B. Does anyone agree with B? A. So it's between B and A. So we have another B. All right, guys. So the age range would have been 5 years. So the answer is B. So B, not A. All right, so 27, which of the following statements is true about population Q? So is the birth rate increasing? Do you think it's is the population expanding? Is there more are there more males than females under the age of 40? Do you think that there are more males than females over the age of 75? All right, so there are more males than females under the age of 40. Yeah, not quite. Not quite. It's a bit close for both of them, so I wouldn't put C as my answer. Nor so B, the population is expanding. So Mia says B. Yeah, it would have been B. So the population is indeed expanding for the country Q shown above. All right, so
Miss, can you explain how?
all right, so all right, so when we say a population is expanding, we mean that population is growing, right? So you can see that right here, the birth rate, it isn't too high, but it is indeed growing, right? While birth rate is the death rate is kind of high, especially for like starting from the 45 to the 46 age group. So the birth rate isn't really increasing, so I would have eliminated that question. Because from right here, the birth rate is kind of, I wouldn't say low, but it isn't high. So it's somewhat in between. And I would have also eliminated C and D because it's really hard to tell exactly which one is higher. And which one has the highest or the lowest population, because they're really close. So, and the population is indeed expand because it is somewhat, growing out.
No, I know that shit don't go to school, but I hear somebody say, oh shit, that at different school. I'm not sure now.
Wait, can you please repeat?
Okay.
yourself. Alhamdulillah, she's always on videos. Animal. She's going to be much guys. Give you the money, yeah? Because of focus. One of I didn't give you the money there because of keep on.
Wait, Duvania, are you here with us?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, for question 29.
29.
See the answer. Yes, so I came to the conclusion that the answer was B, so the population is expanding.
Yeah, I'll go with that one as well. Because I think it would be a bit difficult to tell for C and D. And considering it's an MCQ, I don't think anyone should be sitting down trying to count out all of that.
Yeah.
And for A, I'm a little A wouldn't be my first choice either. I think you were saying that it's like the birth rate is like somewhere in between. It's not super high. So yeah, I would go with B, that the population is expanding.
All right, thanks, Duvania.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, guys. So the answer for 27 is B. So the population is expanding. All right. So our next set of questions, and for question 28, we're asked, which of the following is a feature of sedimentary rock? So are sedimentary rocks deposited in layers? Do you think they are formed when crystal is cooled? Do they develop in the Earth's crust, or are they formed under great heat and pressure? All right, so by process of elimination, which one would you take out and why?
Which I will take out C because that's not what sedimentary rocks are.
You're right. Which other one would you take out?
D because that's for metamorphic.
And can you tell me which other one you'll take out?
B, miss.
B, and why?
Because Because I don't think sedimentary rocks are formed with crystals.
Mm-hmm.
That's yeah.
Yeah, that would have been the metamorphic rock. So our only response that is left, and which is really correct, is that sedimentary rocks are deposited in layers. So 28 would have been A. Okay, now so 29, and thank you. And 29, which of the following conditions is a reason for the sparse settlement in inland areas of some Caribbean territories? So is it because the area is generally flat? So is it because it is in close proximity to urban centers, or are there abundant forested areas? So someone is saying B, so close proximity. So B, not quite. So I wouldn't, B would have been a reason why. So, all right, so we have C. So does anyone also agree with C? All right, so the answer is indeed C, but for B, B would have been, B, urban centers aren't really typically located. Urban centers aren't typically sparse. And they really aren't located in, I wouldn't say inland areas, they are located in inland areas, but it wouldn't have been a condition for the sparse settlements in inland areas. Typically, these areas are located along the coast and they're very populated. So the answer would have been C, so abundance of forested areas, because that would have deterred growth of these urban settlements. It's very hard to cut down these forested areas. In other areas, they may be protected, so they wouldn't be conducive for development. So they would have been very sparse. So the answer is C. Okay, so now 30, we're at the halfway mark now. So fringing reefs are said to be horseshoe in shape. Are they attached to the mainland? Are they built on a submerged platform? Or do you think they are separated from the land by a narrow lagoon? All right, so what do you guys think this answer is, the question? So D, separated from the land by a narrow lagoon.
D, miss.
Which would have been separated by the lagoon. So we would have eliminated D. And we're left with A, B, C. So someone says they're built on a submerged platform. Yeah, not quite B. No, it wouldn't be B, so on. No, it wouldn't be D because D would have been your barrier reef. So the barrier reef would be the one that is separated from the land by the narrow lagoon. All right, so we're down to, oh yes, Swan said B. Yes, the answer is B, Swan. So it's attached to the mainland. That would have been a barrier reef. All right, so 30 is B. 31, when magma emerges on the surface, it may lead to the formation of. All right, so yeah, the answer is D, so lava flows. So 32, which of the following purposes do lines of latitude serve? So they divide the earth into east and west. Does anyone have any other answer? So Joshua says A. Is someone trying to say something? All right, yeah, the answer is indeed A. So your lines of latitude separate the earth into its climatic zones. Okay, so 33. Which of the main characteristics of the equatorial rainforest is trees which, so A says which trees would shed their leaves during the dry season. B, with small thin leaves to reduce transpiration. C, with large buttress roots to provide stability. D, with extensive roots to reach the ground. So we have someone saying C. Does anyone agree, disagree with C? All right, so we also have someone. Yes, the answer is indeed C. So they have large buttress roots that provides stability. All right, so which of the following constituents of soil produces inorganic matter? All right, so we have humus, we have leaf litter, we have parent material, and we have microorganisms. So Joshua says parent material. Does anyone agree? Does anyone disagree? All right, yeah, the answer is indeed C. So the parent material would have been your inorganic mineral matter. All right, so we're given another diagram, and this diagram is a drainage pattern, so river pattern, and we're asked to state what pattern is being depicted in the diagram. So is it a radial drainage pattern? All right? So yeah, it is a radial pattern. So it goes down to the side. So we have a radial pattern here. So the answer is A. 36. In January, the temperature suddenly drops and the wind speed increases. The sky gradually becomes overcast and there is a light shower. What type of weather system is being described? So we have Joshua saying a hurricane. We also have cold front, tropical wave, ITCZ. Does anyone agree and disagree with A? Yeah. All right, so for 36, does anyone have any other response other than A? All right, so for 36, I wouldn't pick A for the answer, not hurricane, but I would have instead chosen the cold front for the answer because January is out of the Atlantic hurricane season. So we wouldn't have hurricanes forming that time. It would have been June to October. Yeah. So your hurricane season would have been from June to October, and January is way out of that month. Yeah. So yeah, it should have been your quote front. So the answer is B. All right, so 37. Which of the following statements about the greenhouse effect is true? So the greenhouse effect results in increased globalization. It makes weather more unpredictable. It lowers temperatures on the mountaintop. And it is a natural process that warms the Earth's surface. All right, so natural process that warms the Earth's surface. Agreement. Yeah, the answer is indeed 37 D. So it's a natural process that warms the Earth's surface. So D. All right, so moving on. A volcanic spine can develop when a cloud layer is present, the lava is viscous, the explosion is violent, and ash and cinder are ejected. All right, so what do you think the answer for 38 is? So would anyone like to give this question a go? What do you think the answer for 38 is? So B, when the lava is viscous. Does anyone else agree to B being the answer? Joshua says B. All right. So, all right. So 38 is, yeah, what it's formed, it's developed when the lava formed within the volcanic vent is viscous. Yeah, so the answer is B. So for 39, we're asked which of the following elements is mainly responsible for high temperatures in the Caribbean? So is the rainfall the element? Would it be or latitude or altitude or humidity? All right, so latitude here. So our latitude is responsible for the high temperatures here in the Caribbean. Okay, so 40. Which of the following conditions result from the increased use of tropical rainforests for agricultural land? So do we have increased height of trees because of increased use for agricultural land? Are there greater variety of plants? Do we see that there is greater rate of erosion of the topsoil, or do we have an increased amount of nutrient that is added to the soil? Yeah, when we remove trees, so for our agricultural activity, we have a greater erosion of our topsoil. So the answer is C. All right, so for 41 to 42, we're given a sketch of a river. And we're asked in 41, what erosional process is occurring on the riverbed as shown in the diagram? So what erosional process do you think is being showed? So corrosion, we have attrition, solution, corrosion, and hydraulic action. So we have all right. So we have someone saying B, so hydraulic action. We also have someone saying C, corrosion. Yeah, the answer is C. So it would have been corrosion. So when the river wears and tears when the river itself wears and tears away along the beds and the banks of the river, so corrosion. All right, so which of the following landforms is located at X? So we have a gorge, we have a valley, plunging pools, or is it an interlocking spur? Yeah, interlocking spur. So the answer is D. Okay, so for 43, which of the following statements about soil is generally true? So the depth increases as moisture content increases. The acidity increases as humus content decreases. The fertility decreases as humus content increases. and the acidity increases as moisture content decreases. All right, so which one would you say is the answer for this one? So I would eliminate B, because humus content would have added acidity to the soil. So B would have been out of the question. All right, what other one would you eliminate now? Or which one would you say is the answer for this question? So it's between A, C, and D. So is anyone else in agreement with C? So the fertility decreases as humus content increases. Yeah, the answer is C. So when wait, no. See, humus content would have added fertility to the soil, so nutrients to the soil, so that would have increased fertility. So yes, C. Yeah, Joshua, I don't think there would have been a correlation between acidity and the moisture content in soil. So the answer would have been D. So when we find that more humus is added to the soil, we also have nutrients being leached into the soil from the humus. So the answer would have been C. All right, so areas closer to the poles receive less heat energy than those closer to the equator because the sun rays are they reflected at higher altitudes? Are they absorbed at higher altitudes? Are they directly over the higher latitudes, or are they spread over a large area at higher latitudes? Oh, 44, which of the following is the main renewable energy used in the Caribbean? Solar, wind, tidal, geothermal.
Solar.
Yes, solar is the answer. So solar is the main energy type, renewable energy type used. Okay, so areas closer to the poles receive less heat energy than those closer to the equator because the sun rays are
D, miss.
answer for. Can you repeat, please?
D as in dog.
All right, so does anyone agree with D? So the answer being it being spread over higher, larger areas at higher latitudes. Is anyone else saying B? Yeah. Yeah, so they are indeed spread out. They aren't concentrated as they would have been at the equator. Okay, so 46, which of the following human activity contributes to landslide? So would the practice of terracing contribute to landslides? Would logging contribute to landslides? Or would mining contribute to landslides? Which one of these would you eliminate first if you are going to eliminate any? All right, so A says 1 and 2. We have B saying 1 and 3. We have C saying 2 and 3, and D saying all of the above. So which one do you think contributes to landslides? C? Yeah. C is the answer. So logging and 9 would have been the human activity contributing to landslides. C would have increased the stability of the soil, reducing landslides or preventing them from happening at a higher frequency. So C would have been our answer. Okay, on to 47. So which of the following is the most serious problem hindering rapid agricultural development in the Caribbean? Is it lack of capital? So do we have rapid soil erosion, a lack of crop variety, a high incidence of crop disease? Which of the following is the most serious problem hindering rapid agricultural development in the Caribbean? So A, does anyone agree with A? This one says E. We have another A. Yes, guys, answer is indeed A. So lack of capital hinders rapid agricultural development within the Caribbean region. Why isn't it? Okay, so the answer is A. 48. Which of the following features is typical of large-scale commercial farming? So which of the following is characteristic? So B, multi-cropping systems. Large-scale commercial on large-scale commercial farms, monoculture is usually carried out. So I would eliminate that from it. We have these in the chat. So yes, intensive mechanization of the agricultural process would have been the characteristics of the commercial farming. So multi-cropping would have been associated with your subsistence or your peasant type of farming, while our more large-scale commercial farm would have practiced monoculture, planting only one crop for profit. Small acreage would have also been your subsistence or your peasant type of farming, and as well as subsistence practices, your more small-scale farming, backyard farming. Yeah. So the answer is B. So 49, the removal of preferential trade agreements impacts Caribbean traditional export crops because such agreements stimulate policies, they encourage competition, they encourage climate change, and they increase global market shares. Yeah, they do increase competition. So B. Okay, so which of the following is a benefit of mangrove wetlands to Caribbean countries? So mangroves contribute to beach formation. They bring stability to coastal areas. All right, so we have these. Yes, so they do increase stability of coastal areas. Doing the opposite of C, which says that their root system loosens the sediments of the rivers. So, all right, so 51. Which we're also given a sketch in for 51, and we're asked to state what process is likely to cause the formation of the feature at X. So we have wave refraction, longshore drift, and wave deposition. And what feature is located at X?
This is a tumble.
Well, for now, I'll call it a split, not quite a tumble as yet. So, so I have these in the chat. So, or was that for the previous question? Or it was for the previous question? So, what set of policies do you think result in the formation of this split right here? All right, so C, so we have wave deposition. Yeah, we have longshore drifting process. We have wave deposition, wave refraction. Let me see what else. C. So C says longshore drift and wave deposition. So the answer is C. Okay, moving on to the next question. So it says atolls appear as reefs that are. So what do you guys know about atolls? Are they ring shaped? Yeah, ring shaped with a lagoon in the center. All right, so 53 now. Which of the following types of settlements will most likely develop near an urban center? So we have the near, isolated, dispersed, nucleated. And from the get-go, I would have eliminated which one? Which one would you have eliminated from the get-go once you saw urban center?
Isolated.
Isolated.
Yeah, isolated and dispersed. And what do you think the answer is? Yeah, so I would have eliminated B and C. So I'm seeing B in the chat. Yeah, so nucleated settlements, concentrated nucleated settlements would have been located in our urban centers. So really dense build up. Okay, so which of the following is a major impact of urban sprawl? So do we have traffic, was this supposed to be traffic congestion? Was that a typo? Yeah, I think this one is a typo. It should have probably like traffic congestion or something of the sort. Yeah, traffic congestion. But the answer is A. So for 55, which of the following is a primary sector activity? So, all right, so we have blasting boulders in a quarry. Yeah, so it's D. That would have been a primary sector. So extractive industry. Which of the following factors is or are most likely to pose a serious threat to rivers in the Caribbean? So is it tourism? Yeah, this was a repeated question. No? Yeah, this kind of similar, but yeah, factory waste or pollution. C. Item 57 refers to the following diagram, which shows changes in the employment sector of a named country. And we're given employment across the three sectors. So we have our primary or secondary and our tertiary. And we're asked, which of the following factors is most likely to cause a rapid increase in tertiary sectors as shown in the diagram? All right, so over time, we have seen where our primary sector or extractive sector has decreased with time. However, we have seen an increase in our tertiary sector, but a somewhat peak in our secondary sectors with a decrease in our primary. So our increase in our tertiary sectors would have been the result of what? So Joshua says an increased demand for services due to improved standard of living. Yeah, right, yes. Does anyone agree with Joshua? So they think B is the answer? Yes, so the answer is B. So with tertiary sectors, we see that we have an increased demand for services. Okay, so 58, which of the following factors is most important in locating primary industries? Yeah, the presence of raw materials, because we need stuff to extract, right? Okay, but 59, which of the following condition is least likely to result in the setup of secondary industries in the Caribbean? So we have increased exports, reduced cost of living, increased employment opportunities, and reduced importation of consumer goods. So which is least important, which is least likely to result in the setup? So B. Yes, so I'm seeing these in this. So I'm seeing, yeah. So the answer is it would have been a reduced cost of living. And for a final question, it says, which of the following conditions is most likely to result in tropical deforestation? A, loss of flora. Yeah, so we would have seen a loss in our flora or our fauna. Which one? All right, so we're at the end of our 2022 paper. All right, so we're at the end of our 2022 paper. Thank you guys for coming to our session. Duvania, is this the last paper for the night?
Yeah, it actually is, because it's getting pretty late.
All right, so thank you again, guys, for coming to our session tonight. If you have any questions, you can ask us in the chat. We'll respond to you as soon as we can. Duvania?
Yep. Just to check, is everyone here in the group chat? The WhatsApp group chat? Okay, so I'm seeing a yes in the chat. Okay, awesome. So yeah, you guys could always reach out to us in the group chat and ask any questions. Could reach out to us privately if you wish, or you could just message in the group and we'll respond. Oh, Kiana, you're not in the group chat. Okay, let me share the link with you really quickly. Okay. Let's see if I can find it. Just 1 second. So, right, that should take you to that link should take you to the CSEC geography group chat, and you can join from there. The next session, I'm not sure when we could possibly have a next session or if we will, considering that the exam is Tuesday. I'm not sure as yet. But yes, thank you guys so much for coming out tonight to the session. We really appreciate it, and we hope that we could have shared some great info with you guys, helped you to understand a bit more of how to respond to paper one questions, the thought process that it would entail. And also just remember, don't spend too much time on one question. Try your best to attempt to complete each question in like a minute or less, so that you can have time to, ensure that you actually get to question 60. And then if you have extra time, you can come back. So remember, time management is a key. So don't spend too long on one question, knowing that you still have a long way to go. All right, so thank you guys so much again for coming out. We wish you all the best for your exams. So yeah. Believe that you will do well, trust God, and you guys got this. Okay, right. So for those who are just rejoining, the meeting, tonight's meeting is where we basically went through two papers, 2020 and 2022. So yeah, the recording link will be posted. The recording will be posted though. Right. So yes. So all the best, guys. Believe in yourself and trust God.